That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. Twitch. And Twitch looks good. Yay. All right. Chat room, I'll put an announcement up in a little bit, but
Yes.
I should do
Hear
that.
speaking noises.
Yep. Yes, I want to send it to 600 plus people. It's my job. There we go. Yay. All right, chat room, let us know when you can see and hear us. Good Lord. Small jet flying low. That was loud.
We only have biplanes floating over us.
Oh, nice.
Occasional little hitter.
Yeah, we mostly get Cessnas coming out of Deer Valley, which is like 2.5 miles away from us. But every once in a while, we'll get one of those private jets come in. Yay! They can see. They say they can hear us. And they're supposed to, there's a flight path they're supposed to stay on, and like coming out of Deer Valley, they'll just like, yeah, we're going nice and quiet, and get to about our neighborhood, and they just like punch it, like we're out of here. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna try not to sneeze. All right, so if you're good, I'm gonna take us into the intro in 5, 4, 3. On this episode of the AIE Podcast.
Plundering storms and WoW.
While Final Fantasy XIV is looking for maps.
And map hunters. Streaming MFN to STO.
And celebrating the new year in Guild Wars 2.
And 64-bit servers in Lotro. Huh?
Yup. All that and more coming up right now.
Bringing you the latest news from the AIE gaming community from planet Earth and beyond. This is the AIE Podcast.
Welcome to episode 432 of the podcast celebrating you, the Alia Iacta Est gaming community. The Die has been podcast. This is Tetsemi, and to my left, well, technically to my right and 2 states over is Mewcow.
Greetings, guildies. I hope everyone's keeping warm on this chilly weekend.
And McCullough is out being classy. Attending a training class. So this week we are talking to ourselves about game systems, guild activities, and the community.
We promise not to do too many spreadsheets.
Right, exactly. Yeah, speaking of staying warm, I was having to babysit a change for work today, and the guy back in New Jersey snowed in. I'm like, wow, okay. I guess that Arctic storm's really hitting hard. So
we may be getting snow tomorrow night.
Oh, nice. Well, enjoy it if you get it.
Like 2 weeks ago, it was 80 degrees.
I know. And it'll be 80 degrees in 2 more weeks now.
Yes. Yeah. Something like that.
All right. We'll be digging into what we've been up to lately and talking about some community and guild activities. But first, let's cover this week's news.
AIE News.
Yeah. All right. In Nomads news. In New World, we run group content on Sunday nights. We are working through the expeditions, which are dungeons, with an eye towards the Hive of Gorgons, which is a raid. That just doesn't sound good.
No.
Like D&D, a Hive of Gorgons, no. I hope they have their flesh to stone handy or stone to flesh handy, one of those. Find us on Hudson Land for a fresh start, and the legacy server that they're on is Valhalla.
See you in Valhalla.
Exactly.
Speaking of Valhalla, over in WoW news, the Battle Royale game Plunder Storm is back with new pets, a new mount, which is called the Plunder Lord's Midnight Crocolisk, which I think makes the 3rd one now, and transmog including Swabby's Shovel and Ore. You can also purchase Trader's Tender if you haven't maxed that out yet, or use it for next month. There's also a back appearance. Yes. Cowards as your target, which is I stumble on that because it's as a back appearance. It's not like a cloak or a backpack. It's literally a target on your back.
Yep.
And that'll be available until February 4th. If you watch the WoW Twitch stream.
See, if they'd made it red and white, they could have got sponsored.
Yeah, that's true. RJ. But to also add to the list of new stuff, if you did not earn the old stuff, that stuff is still waiting for you, and you will earn your way through the old stuff and then get to the new stuff. So there's some people confused about that, but that's how it's working. Is you're gonna have to. They basically just added the new stuff onto the end of the grind. So
like a battle pass, but you just got to work your way.
Yeah. Yeah, and from right here, it's still not that horrible to do it if you want to grind it out. Then we have the Turbulent Timeways Time Walking event is ongoing and great for alts. This week the quest is for 5 Warlords of Draenor dungeons, and next week will be Legion. I ground out my 5 last night, and it was super fast. So, still really easy. It was still nice to see those old dungeons, especially the train. It has such interesting mechanics for a dungeon that I don't think they've really done since. And of course, coming soon, TM, will be the Undermined patch, or will we visit the massive underground goblin capital to learn Gallywix is helping Xalatath? Must be offering her money, him more money, or something like that, with a very important project, and it's not a man a penny.
Yeah.
Let me get her shoes.
He does have a pleasure palace, so, you know.
Yeah. Among the features that are coming are a customizable super fast car mount, because flying is not available. Apparently you can drift on it. They seem to show that a lot, so, because drifting's all the rage.
Yep.
There is a quest towards a rental apartment, which looks like it has bank access, a new dungeon, Operation Floodgate, 2 new delves with an associated customizable mount, the Gobtrotter. Bran can also now tank, and now we can finally tell him, don't stand there, for a change. Although he seems to promptly then run into what he just told you not to stand into. So
100%. Yep.
Yeah. The new raid, the Liberation of Undermine, will help the various goblin cartels unseat Chrome King Gallywix. Grats to rogues on their very cool pirate-themed tier set.
Shocking.
If you haven't already gotten plenty in Plunder Storm.
Yep. And in WoW Classic Refresh has some AIE, and Lars is there, and Classic Kata has tapered off. Yeah, tapered off was a strong word. Anyway, in SOTOR news, MFN goes well with a few other events each week, running on 2 servers. They have PvP nights and the mandatory fun night and some other things. There is an all sorcerer operation night event coming up, so keep an eye out on Discord for that. And lots of new and returning players still active. And as always, the Wednesday ops team needs fill-ins. And in ESO news, again, we're still back from winter break. We've been working on trials and helping each other with endeavors while hanging out and chatting, and Kinney is, of course, floor tanking. Over
in Final Fantasy XIV, there's a bit of a patch lull in content. The new custom delivery NPC and Chaotic Alliance raid were released on Christmas Eve, or they're looking for the next live letter sometime in late February, early March. So our next major patch is looking to be sometime in March or early April. So there's a little bit of time.
Mm-hmm.
That patch will include the next tier in the Arcadian 8-man raid series, and the live letter should have more details about the upcoming Disciple of the Hand Land Exploration Zone and the Battle Exploration Zone. We are still attempting to do treasure maps on Saturday nights in the meantime, but not super active. So, if you are interested in those, speak up.
Yep. And in STO news, the Fleet Action Report is a video podcast run by AIE personnel on Thursdays at 10 p.m. Eastern. Shows dedicated to teaching others how to play STO. They feature build videos for both ground and space, show off new ships, and explain other aspects of STO. They invite you to ask questions during the show so they can answer them live. AIE classes and or honorists run a fleet fun night on Mondays at 10 p.m. Eastern. These events are live streamed, so you can join the fun even if you're not able to join us in-game. These nights are for you. Need help with a mission or a build? Want a team of players to know how to run TFOs with? Need help working out your first or 300th build? That's what they're there for. Also, the giveaway on the PC version has been moved to January 21st to 26th, and there's bonus marks weekend until then. We do know that there is a patch coming this Tuesday to fix the trait/loadout bug, and we're hoping to get more information about the next event then. Consoles are currently experiencing the Feast event, and it lasts until February 5th.
I was very amused and confused when Twitch asked me if the term Kini was allowed to be said in our channel. So, yes.
Yes, it is.
In Guild Wars 2, the next festival event in Guild Wars 2 calendar is the Canthan Lunar New Year. The dates have not been announced. However, it should be soon as the actual Lunar New Year starts on January 29th this year. And I'm pretty sure that the Canthan one is a pretty interesting event, so that's a fun one to play.
Cool. And in Lord of the Rings Online, 64-bit servers at the end of the month or so. The guild/kinship will move to Peregrine, and the VIP will have first shot at new names. There might be some things that individuals need to do, like logging in. Dux will be coordinating the guild and house move. All right. Well, that was a quick set of news. And again, we were just here last week, so, sometimes it is brief like that. But let's get back to us and find out what has been going on in community activities. So this came up with a lot of just being in a lot of MMO communities in general, listening to a lot of podcasts. And a lot of the MMOs are slowing down their content releases, or when they do release it, it goes to smaller patches. And the need to always be logged on the game and grinding something really has been drawn back, which leaves more times for other activities, which is great. There's so much room for activities. Slaps hood. Anyway, but there is a slight downside or for things in general, because it feels like the guild or the community now has to take on more that role of keeping people engaged in the games than otherwise they would be, because the game systems, are there to keep people engaged. So you kind of have to up the number of activities and stuff. Mew, are you finding something similar with, I know you're raiding in WoW, but I think you got AOTC for your heroic raid. There's no new raid out. So what is your raid team doing?
This week we actually did the not heroic, but we did the Palace's raid achievements and got the flying spider. So
Very
those
nice.
of you that love spiders, well, now it flies. But yeah, I mean, and that's typically what we did in the past is, once you got AOTC, then you worked on achievements, and we did that in 1 week. Because, it was nice, but it wasn't overly annoying. Like in the past, we've had times where you remembered some of those we've done as part of FERT that were just so painful to do. Like, who wants to ever do that egg thing from the one bird raid again?
Exactly. Or getting 5 people to kneel all at the same time when you're running up to...
Kneel, run, kneel, stop light, red light, green light,
exactly.
red light, green light.
Yeah.
And it's, so yeah, we are done. We honestly have nothing to do. So, in fact, this week I dragged my warrior back out and started gearing that one up and actually brought that in to do the achievement raid. Because I figured that, why let that gear go to waste on my, leather wearing a demon hunter that is well advanced of whatever's coming out of normal. Mm-hmm. So the prot warrior got some new gear. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's it. We are essentially done. We're probably just going to do old raids and old achievements and just maybe do some transmog raids. We have to keep ourselves busy. Excuse me, because the game's not going to give us anything. And before you say, "Oh, I'm bored," that's a good thing.
No, 100%.
Yeah, because they're starting to respect our time.
Yep.
I guess poor families now, they have to see more of us because we're done with the grind, and now we can spend time with our families that love us and want us more around more.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I know, like Seema said last week that she was glad that Plunderstorm wasn't all encompassing, so that it was, more optional. Not Plunderstorm, good lord, Siren's Isle.
Oh yes.
Did you do Siren's Isle, or was it like, oh, that's interesting, and then moved on?
Well, so the funny thing is so on my main, I guess we consider my main, my Demon Hunter, I did Siren Isle enough to get the ring and the gem slots I wanted, and then I left. So then I came back, when I was wanting to get the Prot Warrior ready for raid, and said, oh, let me grab that ring. Oh, there's more. Oh, there's more. So apparently there's this whole other quest line that I never bothered with on the Demon Hunter that makes the ring higher eye level.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And opens up over the weeks. And that's just it is, when it first came out, I did everything I could see at the time and then left with the Demon Hunter.
Yep.
And never came back. And so now I'm coming back, and there's a whole bunch more stuff you can do. Like I on the Demon Hunter, I never did the Storm Shift.
Okay.
I never bothered with that. Because like I said, we were busy, heroic raiding and trying to get the queen down. So I didn't have time for it, and now I do. Now I can actually fiddle around in there and see what all there is to explore. I can if I want to take time to do Plunderstorm, which I noticed there was a little a new one of those little indicators saying, hey, there's something you need to look over here, and I looked over and it was for PvP. Mm-hmm. There's a spot in game now to start Plunderstorm from the regular WoW game, and I didn't actually press on it, but I kind of wonder, does that mean that they want you to go in as your character? Like, your character doesn't bring any of the gear with it, of course,
right? But
because when we did Plunderstorm, they forced you to create a new Plunderstorm alt, essentially. So it would make sense that if they could just say, hey, they've already made a character, why not just let them use that that template and just throw that into Plunderstorm, and that makes sense to me. That might bring more people in that don't, they may bulk from the opening screen showing a weird little thing over here. I'm not going to bother with that. I know how to play my game.
Right.
Well, now the PvP thing pops up saying, hey, you want to do some Plunderstorm with your character?
Nice.
So,
okay.
So that cool. Might draw some people in. But we have the time to do that, and nothing in Plunderstorm is required. It's all cosmetic.
Yeah.
So again, they're doing a better job of not requiring us to have a second job, essentially.
Yeah. Do you think that puts more of a onus on the officers and the community leaders to keep people otherwise engaged in the game?
Oh yeah, for sure. Even just to look at the microcosm of my raid team, we have to keep them engaged, because if we don't, now that everyone has AOTC,
right,
they don't want to grind for more gear. They don't want to go into that palace anymore. Yeah, not that it's horrible, but we've accomplished a thing. We no longer have a carrot to follow.
Right. So you got to put new carrots out.
Yes, new carrots, or in the case of Final Fantasy XIV, switch to cake to get the bird to fly. But yeah, so now it's we'll go back to some of the old raids, see who's missing some achievements for different raids, see who wants to do some transmog runs. There's always something out there to grab. We got a taste of Mists and Pandaria, so we may want to run through there again.
Right.
It's also the we mentioned the Timeways event.
Yeah.
That's been real nice too, and I do recommend, like, that Timeways event is dropping. When you do the 5, the little chest they drop gives you a really nice piece of gear, so you want to do it every week. And I think that there's a new mount involved if you do like all of the weeks of it or something.
If you
like
do
that.
5 of 7, you just have to do 5 of 7 weeks, and I think the dungeons go down to only requiring 4 this week. I think it was 5 for the initial for some reason.
That was 5 for me.
Was it 5 this week? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did 5 last night.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
And then and that was a lot of fun, because I haven't done the Warlords of Draenor dungeons in ages. It took a little bit to remember what was going on, but it wasn't the horrible thing you remember because it has that sheen of nostalgia on it, you know.
Right. Yeah.
And like I remembered, you know, that train dungeon was a lot of fun. It was different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was linear, but like stuff was happening that you're not used to. You know, it was one of the first time where you're not supposed to just zerg the boss.
Right.
You know, you're
Yeah.
it's like if you zerg the boss, you're gonna die.
You die real quick, or your healers are going to be
Yeah.
upset. So,
One of the two.
yeah.
But you know, at the same time, you know, I'm running it on my prot warrior, and my healer's just like, yeah, just keep going. You're fine. Keep going. So I just kept going.
Yeah.
So, you know, and then it's time walking, so it's not quite as hard. You know, it gives you heroic. Well, the resulting the vault
The
will give you heroic
chest.
gear.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll give you that, but you know, and the 5 run chest too. But the run itself is giving you essentially normal gear.
Right.
Like I think is it Explorer or Adventurer? I always get the two confused. But you know, none of that gear was useful for the prot. I actually got the prot warrior to the point where most of their gear, except for 2 pieces, is at whatever it is, not quite heroic.
Right.
Veteran. That's what it is.
Okay.
So yeah, so all but 2 pieces are veteran on the prot warrior already. Like it didn't take too long. Part of that was, you know, because of catch-up mechanics. I think Siren's Isle is dropping random pieces, so some of those pieces I was able to put on the prot warrior. But yeah, that was another thing is that they're giving you kind of a catch-up mechanic that isn't automatic. Like if you go through Siren's Isle, you'll loot random pieces that are bind on Warband that you can send to other stuff. So
that's good.
You know, they're giving you stuff to do. Like if you really want something to do, there is plenty to do out there.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like
so,
you have to be in there.
No, it's no longer our second job. You know, and like we said, your officers, your raid leaders, you know, if they want to keep their people around, they're going to have to come up with stuff to do. But yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But at the same time, I also don't think it's a bad thing to just let people take a break.
No, exactly. You don't burn them out. I mean,
yeah,
I hit halfway through Dragonflight. Yeah, and I just realized how burned out I was. Like, I stepped away for a bit and then did not feel the need to go back for a while and just was like, yeah, I really, I hit burnout hard. So, Gusty said she does not like that Plunderstorm uses her username for her character. So that's no bueno. If that happens, if your BattleNet username is your character name, that's odd.
That is curious.
Yeah,
but you know, I guess maybe that's part of the you know, allowing your regular character to play.
Yeah. She also said that the train dungeon definitely has had some fixes to it from the.
Oh yeah, it was super smooth. Like there
good.
was no. I remember there being some hitches in the past, but nothing tripped me up as we were running through. Like everything worked the way you were expecting it to. You know, there was no weirdness because I think part of it is in between the cars.
Yeah,
there's like weird little platforms and doors and stuff.
Yeah,
that all worked correctly. So
that's
that
good.
could be, you know, when they were doing this time walking, they did a good once over and fixed all those little things. But yeah, that was fun. The only weird one was at Auchendune, where you have to wait for all the little RPs and like, oh, we're gonna have a little talk here and stare at this shield and oh, you wanted me to open that shield. Oh, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay, there it is. Have fun. Yeah. You're done. It's like that was, you know, that was the slowest only because like you can basically grind through everything else. But yeah, and you know, it's you know, it's fun to see the old content. None of it was really annoying other than being slowed down if you're in a hurry. And yeah, you know, it was fun.
Good. Fez says that they stomached Plunderstorm for the mounts. So yes, if you're a mount collector, definitely get in there.
Yeah, I mean, if I didn't already have a ton of pirate themed gear, I might be more interested in it. But you know, I already have so much.
Yeah.
And you know, I tried it the first time around, and it's kind of okay. But I don't know. I've never really been into PvP. It feels different.
Yeah.
You know, if we could lean.
Did you play Fortnite at all?
Yeah, and same thing.
Right. I was gonna say it should be a similar. Yeah.
It's the same experience, and like what I found is that if I'm playing with friends, it's a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
But solo, it's not interesting at all. It's just like, oh, okay, well, I guess it's over. On to the next one.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it's over. Because it's I'm not in it to compete. I'm there just to get some points and go. And
Yeah.
So I've just never been a PvP computer.
Gusty says the ore weapon amuses her, but she hates Battle Royale PvP. So
I mean, I appreciate that there is a little bit of PvE in the world.
yeah.
It's just that, and like, it honestly, like, if if the time was spent more people focusing on that, it would probably be more fun. But regardless, you're always going to come across that one person that just ignores all the PvE because they're there to just oh, it's a player. I have to go after it. It's like
yeah.
Really, dude, really? There's a shiny thing that will give you more. Like,
right.
I just started the game. I have nothing on me. Go fight that. No, you're a player. I have to go after you. And then that's kind of what ruins it for me. So
yeah.
Not quite as interested in that content.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you doing in Final Fantasy 14 now?
Still kind of plodding through the story, honestly. I've been taking it purposely slow. I kind of feel like, when we kind of talked about this behind the scenes, but it feels like Endwalker was just so intense.
Yeah.
That it felt like we were just that intensity just burned so brightly, and now we need a break.
Yeah.
We just need to relax, and it's fitting that the new expansion, Dawn Treader, is kind of like a vacation of sorts.
Yeah.
But at the same time, because of that, the drive that I gotta save the world is not there. There's no world to save.
Right. The impending doom, even for this expansion, has been kind of dealt with, and then you're just kind of waiting for, like, is there even another shoe to drop, or what's next? Because Endwalker just kind of took us literally to the end of the universe and back, and now what? Coming back and dealing with political machinations is just like, really? Is that where we're going now? Don't get me wrong.
It can be interesting.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun with the opening story right up through everything. And then I started doing the role quests and that sort of thing. And I think I got 3 of 5 role quests done. No, 4 or 5 role quests done. I just have the tank one left to do, but that means grinding a tank from 60 to 90 right now, and that's not high on my priority list. Anything with the word grind on it, just no.
No, now is not the time for grinding.
No. I do need to pop in and look at the society quest because I do have some crafters I want to get up. And that's always interesting. I do enjoy those because those are relaxing to me. There's no time pressure. There's like, just do it, log in. Okay, we're good. But I've been spending a lot of time in Horizon Zero Dawn. I have been making up for all the time that I was spending in MMOs, going back and playing all the single-player MMO games that either I missed or they finally backported from the consoles to the PC so I can play them on Steam without getting a PS5 or a Xbox. And
I think they just Steam Deck authorized Final Fantasy VII actually.
Oh, nice.
So,
yeah. And see, I've still got that Final Fantasy VII remake to play through. And I think the second part came out. There's a whole lot of stuff I need to catch up on that I kind of ignored because the MMOs were sucking up all my free time. I've got 15 minutes here. Let me go in and do a thing in the game because I need to advance something. And again, sorry, I'm not trying to sound like a downer, but for a lot of people that's their primary game. I know I've also heard complaints that the lack of stuff to do is driving them crazy because they don't want to play other things. They just want to focus on that game. So
Yeah.
I think
I can see that.
yeah. So I think a lot of people are focusing on alts. I think what did Fez say? WoW's been pretty alt friendly, so you're seeing people playing class they never had before. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's my raid team too. Like they after raids, I would hear, okay, I'm leveling this alt. Oh, I'm going to level this alt now. So it's it's definitely that time. And yeah, like you says, they've proved warbands have made alts amazing just on itself.
Yeah.
And then all the ways that you can get new gear for alts, how it's just little tweaks, like the fact that I'm running in an alt and it has a nice little thing saying your warband has already completed this. So it's like, oh, okay, I don't even have to worry about that if I don't want to.
Yeah, it
can.
takes care of that FOMO of no, I got to do this on every alt. No, technically you've already done it. Just move on.
Yeah. Yep. It's like this story already. You can skip it, or there's or now it's like, well, I want some of those stones. Let me go ahead and do this one real quick.
Yeah.
And I don't have to pay as much attention because I've already done it. So, but little things like that have definitely improved it too. Like in general, I've said before, it doesn't feel like a job as much anymore. So it's actually pleasant to play.
You can relax and log in, and if you have to miss a raid night, it doesn't feel like okay now. Yeah.
No, it used to be a big deal. Oh, I got to fill that vault out. Fill that vault out. Now because we're not having to do this mandatory grind, you don't feel like you're missing out on it. Like my main character is fully heroic geared out. Like I don't feel the need to say, okay, well, I guess it's time for mythic. It's like no. I have my main character has not set foot in any dungeon this expansion. Like I know nothing about the mythic dungeon. Nope, haven't touched any of the mythic dungeons.
You played through for the story, but you didn't do them. You're not running.
Not even that. Not even that.
Oh,
I don't even know the story of those. Yeah, no. Instead of doing the dungeons, I've been doing delves. Delves have been far more interesting. And even if their story isn't directly tied because it has its own little story arc going on with their big bad, I still find that more engaging than. Oh, let me do this trash pack. Oh, here's another trash pack. Yep, here's another trash pack. Oh, there's a boss. Okay, he's gone. Another trash pack. Like that's what always bugged me about Mythic Dungeons is it's all about let's make trash annoying, and the boss is a speed bump.
Yeah. Or the weeks where both the trash and the boss are annoying. You're just like, why?
Yes. So that that has burnt me out of even wanting to go near Mythic Pluses, but thankfully they brought delves in, and I can grind out delves, and I don't feel like I'm hampered by not doing a Mythic Plus dungeon because, sure, I'm not getting the best of the best crests, but because of the way they have it set up, I can still earn those by getting the normal crests and turning them into the best of the best crests.
Yeah, you just slower grind, but you could do it.
Yeah, but I don't need to do a fast grind. Like it's the whole thing. Things are spread out now. They've realized that they were on an unnatural, cadence with trying to grind out stuff too fast. Like, we don't need it. Like, let us have our lives. Let us take our time and enjoy the content. And I guess if someone really needs it, they have alts they can do.
Exactly. Yeah. How do you like because they took the PvP out of the vault and replaced it with what?
Delves.
So does that
or delves or world activities?
Okay.
So the top one is raids. The middle one is dungeons, which can be heroic and or mythic. So I think that's the other big change too, is that it used to only be
Mythic Plus.
Mythic. Yeah, Mythic Plus. So then the third one used to be PvP, and now it is delves or world activities, and either one counts. So if you do the weekly world boss, I think that counts as one point. But like I was grinding through the delves, and just yesterday I had good enough gear I could finally do level 8 delve.
Right.
And by doing solo. And so I was able to then do 2 of them, and that upgraded my vault to a 616.
Nice.
So, that's like it's works so much better for me. Yeah. I don't have to because the worry, I have life to deal with.
Yeah.
I can't always, spend a half hour grinding through a Mythic Plus,
Right.
when I might have to get up and do something. Whereas a Delve, if I get up and do something, Brand's gonna he's gonna be bored and sitting in the corner and doing his little thing, but he's not gonna complain that much.
Right.
I'm not inconveniencing other adult humans by having to go do a thing.
Yeah.
So it works so much better.
Very cool. Have you been playing any single player games?
Sort of.
Fallout 76?
Fallout 76 and Pal World
okay.
are the two that are, they're kind of single player, but technically you can have co-op essentially. That's why it's one of those weird things. But, and I've gotten to a point now where I'm probably ready to start dragging some co-op partners in there. So I'll probably be bugging a Miss Aludra to get in there because, I hear she likes pets.
Yep.
So, that game is right up her alley. Because it very much is adult Pokemon, and it's different enough that we're not catching Pikachus and giving them weapons, but we're doing an equivalent. So
yeah,
but the thing is I like that style of survival game that I've played Rest, I've played Vanguard something.
Veilguard? No, not Veilguard. That's Valheim.
Valheim, yeah. I've tried all of those, and like I don't know, I fall off of those. They just aren't as interesting. But Pal World has enough of a survival feature to it that it's fun and not annoying, which is a big difference. And I think their base building is, while simple, is still fun. Like if I want really good base building, I go back to 76. I mean, I know it's buggy. But it's it's far more in depth and customizable.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you can set up these neat little PAL bases and have them set up so they're almost self-sufficient. It's still an early access game, so it's still a bit buggy. If you leave a base alone too long, it just starts to bug and they start sinking into the ground and forgetting they have beds and so yeah, you can only do so much, and you still kind of have to every now and then pop over and say, okay, let's cook some food for you guys because you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
But you can get them to a point where they're fairly self-sufficient, and then you can just go out and explore and level up and just see what's out there, and they have their equivalent of raid bosses and dungeons and dungeon bosses. It's an interesting way, and it's like, yes, you can improve yourself, but you could also go out and find these pals and improve them and have them help you. It's it's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well,
with Valheim, because I was really enjoying Valheim, but part of my brain cycle on it was I had a lot of fun doing the single player exploration, build the base and stuff like that. But then you hit a certain point where you're like, okay, more people to build the base, gather resources is more interesting. But then you're worried about like, well, there are 3 bosses ahead of you. So you pop into their world and, there's 3 bosses unlocked, and yet your gear and stuff is still back leveled. So you have to catch up. And then you missed out the taking down those bosses. So it kind of feels like you're just riding their coattails to do stuff, which is fine. If you just want to pop in and see stuff and tootle around and have stuff. So there's always that, little bit of tension in a multiplayer game like that of, am I contributing enough? Am I doing stuff?
Yeah.
Am I playing this right? So,
but it's better than the alternative, which I think Pal World have, of I come into your world and I am a naked in level 1. So
yes, true.
At least you can still go off on your own and catch up on that game. Whereas in Pal World, you have to be in their world active in order to have that up. Unless you do tricky things with save files and fun stuff like that. But
yeah.
But,
I do need to spin up another. I gotta spin up the Valheim server here at the house just to putz around on it, because it's, to me, I had a blast in Minecraft and doing all the fun stuff. When my daughter and I play, she's the explorer, I'm the builder, so she'll go find a bunch of stuff, and then I'll set up the base, and she'll bring stuff back, and we'll we have fun like that. But Valheim seemed much more interesting in that, because like the base building and having to protect it from the raids and that sort of thing was fun. So I think the only thing I didn't like about it was just like you had to build an outpost and get a portal set up so that you could teleport the stuff back to your main base, and then now you're defending two places. So there's a little tension there. It's part of the fun part of it.
I will say it's very interesting in Pal World to have your base set up, and then a raid comes in, and then all your happy little pals that have been working on base stuff turn, stare at the raid, and just descend, and you just see this swarm.
Yeah.
And if you've got some high levels in there, they just start mowing stuff down.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah.
So that is one different, like, because you can get some, like, you can get like a somewhere to shoot bows from. You can do a place to put like a machine gun and a rocket launcher. But like just letting the pals do it themselves, like they have their own natural ways of taking care of things, and you just step back and you're like, oh, okay, you do your thing. So, good luck if there happens to be any pals in the raid that you want to catch, because those they're
bloodthirsty.
Out for blood. Oh, definitely bloodthirsty. Yeah. No, they like, and if there is a way to tell them, hey, chill, but you have to go back and like it's a raid bell. You can tell it, you go back and say, okay, don't defend. I want to do this myself.
Right.
But by default, like they like the second they get a whiff of anything, they just turn and swarm. Even if they're, too weak to fight, you have to explicitly later on get a thing saying, you don't bite.
Yeah.
Because you're a lamb. You can't do anything.
You're squishy.
Yes.
So.
But yeah.
Cool. So are there any, I know we kind of talked about this last week a little bit, but with the patch upcoming for WoW and for Final Fantasy 14 coming up, what else are you looking forward to this year? Game-wise?
There's a couple of games coming this year that I'm kind of looking forward. Like, they did announce the Nintendo Switch 2.
Yes.
So that's coming this year. The Switch was such a well-designed system that I'm kind of curious to see what happens when they polish it.
Yeah.
When they give it good hardware. And, it's because now that good hardware is cheap enough, they can make the Switch 2.
Exactly.
Hopefully they can figure out the hardware, because, especially around the house, like, the family gets a lot of use out of the Switch.
Yeah.
So, it'll be interesting to see once they have, a bit more power behind it. But I think there's a new, I think Outer Worlds 2 is coming.
Yes.
And I enjoyed the first one.
I still need to play Outer World. I still need to play through Outer Worlds and get caught up. So that's on my list. Like, I want to get through the 2 Horizon games, and I think Outer Worlds is next. So
yeah, it was such an interesting game, because you can definitely tell it was done by people that worked in the Fallout universe.
Yes.
But couldn't use anything in there, so.
Yeah.
It was an interesting, and it had a very interesting humor to it. But yeah, that's that. Oh, Atom Fall. In the same vein, actually. Atom Fall is very much someone wanted to make a Fallout game, but couldn't use the Fallout stuff.
Right.
So it's a different take on it. By Rebellion Development. I'm not familiar with their work, but yeah, that one I'm looking forward to, because it looked interesting what they shared. I think they shared it at the Game Awards.
Oh, okay. God, there was a lot of game announcements at the.
That's why I'm having to bring up a list, because there were so many interesting looking games coming that I'm not entirely sure that I remember them all. I think there's a new Borderlands coming, right?
I heard like a Borderlands 5 or something, or 4.
4, I think.
Yeah.
4. There was a new Witcher. There's a new Witcher coming.
Yes.
It looked interesting.
Yeah. Definitely have to play that. I still need to get through Gears of War, Ragnarok, and Witcher 3. But the other one that caught my eye, somebody was telling me if you like good narrative-driven story, it's called I Was a Teenage. What was it? I was a teenage exo. Not exo tourist, but like a basically a teenage explorer, but a exoplanet explorer, and then there's a whole narrative story that you go through and make narrative decisions on it as you adventure through. And I just picked that up for Steam, so I'm gonna have to see if I play it first or if the Hordling's gonna play it first. So
yeah, and I think Mass Effect coming this year or next year?
Oh no! Then didn't they not just start on it? But isn't that?
I think they just teased it, so I think it's probably not until next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's the thing.
Teenage exocolonist. That's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds vaguely familiar, but yeah, like there's. I think this will be a good year for single player content because of all the MMOs that are learning. Hey, maybe we can share player.
Yeah. This one you may be interested in, Mew, because it is where's the what? Where is the write-up on that? I just saw it. Spend your teenage years on an alien planet in this narrative RPG with card-based battles. Explore, grow up, fall in love. The choices you make and skills you master over 10 years will determine the course of your life and the survival of your colony. So I was like, as soon as I saw card-based, I'm like, oh, Mew might be interested in that.
It depends on how they do it too.
Yeah.
Because, there's a good way to do it and there's a bad way.
Yeah.
So.
I saw the most interesting one today. It's a Tetris roguelike colony builder.
Okay.
So that you start out with a grid, and then you have buildings that you get, and you place the buildings, and then you have to gather resources with those buildings, and then you're advancing up the map as you play. Like a new land piece will come in Tetris shapes, and then you have to put that in, and then sometimes the land piece will have enemy base on it. And so then you've got to put the enemy base strategically where they can get less resources than you can gather. And then once you fill up the map, then you go battle the enemy. And then if you lose, then you power up and get more stuff. But if you win, then you carry those forward to the next scenario. So, but it was interesting. I'm like, a Tetris roguelike colony planet.
Yeah.
That sounds.
Yeah. It's an interesting combination, but I see what they're doing. So
yeah.
I see that.
Yeah. So that was interesting. But yeah, I'm looking forward with a lot of these. That's what I like about the single player games. Somebody comes up and taps you on the shoulder, or, hey, I need you to do something. You can just, escape button. All right.
Yep.
Let's go do it.
Pause.
Exactly. So, all right. Anything else, Mew?
No, I think we're about ready to hit the pause button on the podcast.
All right. Well, that is our show for tonight. While the chat room begins suggesting show titles, we want to thank ourselves for joining us. Thank us, anyway.
Thank you ourselves.
Exactly.
If you have a question or comment about our show, you can email us at podcast@aie-guild.org. You can find us on the AIE Discord server and other non-Twitter social media. We record live with video every other Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Although we were a bit odd this week because next week things are happening. So
Yes.
wibbly wobbly timey-wimey stuff. We'll figure it out.
Yep.
You can you can join the chat room and play along with us on our website, which is aie-guild.org, and look for a podcast live stream. And you can look for the link to our Discord server there as well. It's on the main page. As far as past episodes, you can see them on our YouTube channel, which is at youtube.com, and then look for the AIE Podcast. Our theme was composed by the amazing Andrew Allen. Follow him at Keys with Soul somewhere or other, and visit his website, andrewallenmusic.com.
And next time, we'll be talking to Guest in Game. So until then, AIE, this is Tetsemi.
And this is Mewcow.
And this has been the AIE Podcast.
Dun dun dun.
Yay!
Right.
Gusty was commenting in Twitch chat, shades of gremlins in there. Yes.
Oh, yes, very much so. Especially if you put a bunch of gremlins in your base, and then you just have a sea of gremlins running at whatever wants to die. But,
I like that for a show title, Shades of Gremlins. All right. Cool. Well, we got done a little bit early, so I can go make dinner for the family.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, chat room. And we will be... So next week, we're out because McCullough and I have anniversary dinner. And then the week after that... hang on. That's why we were missing that week. And then we'll figure it out.
One of the weeks was for a trip, right?
Well, she's going to be in India starting that week after the 26th. She's going to be in India for a couple weeks, and then we'll be back. So we're going to probably have one more podcast with you and I, and then bring McCullough back. And then end of March, late March, she and I have a trip. So we'll figure it all out. But just
we'll get it all figured out.
Pay attention to Discord, and we should be good.
Discord.
Thanks, chat room. Bye.
Bye.